Welcome back. It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thanks for joining us. Our guest is Jeff Gorell. He's a member of the California State Assembly. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. You've been there for 2-3 months. How's it going?
Well, it's going great. We're getting settled in. We've introduced legislation. We've got a staff up and running. We're working on the budget, so we're hit the ground running.
Let's talk about the budget because it's the topic everyone is still talking about 4 years into a crisis. Governor Brown is proposing a package of cuts and tax extensions. And he would put it to the voters in June, but it has to get out of the Assembly and the Senate to get that on the ballot. What's your position on that?
I oppose putting those tax increases back on the ballot because they were rejected overwhelmingly by more than 71% of the voters. In fact, 73 statewide, 73% voted. Those exact same tax increases were rejected by voters in June of 2009. So it's a monumental waste of voters' time and money to put those back on a ballot.
And many have said that. The challenge is we have a budget deficit of about $25 billion, and Governor Brown has identified $12 billion in cuts. But if those tax increases are not extended, there's another $12 billion in cuts that need to be found. Where would you find those cuts?
Well, thank you. We are dedicated to working with the governor on governmental reform and not just lop the legs off of different programs, but actually go in to the substance of the programs, all of them, and weed out the inefficiencies, the duplicative efforts.
But are there $12 billion worth of inefficiencies?
There's certainly multiple billions of dollars more. And let me remind you that just a few months ago, everyone was saying all the low-hanging fruit is gone. There's nowhere left to cut. There's nowhere left to cut is what we heard for the last year. And then the governor just found $12 billion of things that are not core mission of the state government that he's able to cut. So here he spent a little bit of time, and $12 million. My caucus and my colleagues are dedicated to helping him find multiple more billions of dollars.
Now, you have a bill that is pending, and I've heard rumblings about it. It's very interesting. If you look at taxing in California, there are actually 3 agencies. There's the Franchise Tax Board, the Board of Equalization, and the Employment Development Department. I've heard Democrats and Republicans say maybe it's time to consolidate. I know Jeff Gorell's looking at that as well.
Yeah, thank you. The Independent Legislative Analyst's Office recommended that that California consolidate its 3 taxing agencies into one as early as 1948. And so today,
they suggested that like after World War II.
Yeah, we have 3 taxing agencies. You certainly don't need today, with today's technologies and capabilities, you don't need 3 agencies to collect our tax money. You have the Franchise Tax Board, the Board of Equalization, and EDD collects payroll taxes. My bill would eliminate the Franchise Tax Board, consolidate all of those responsibilities under the Board of Equalization, and eliminate the portions of EDD and roll those all under the Board of Equalization.
All under the Board of Equalization.
All under the Board of Equalization, which would be renamed the Department of Revenue.
Now, as a Republican, you'll need some Democratic support since Republicans are in the minority in both houses. I've heard Democrats rumble about this, so are you getting some bipartisan support?
Yeah, this bill has actually been introduced in the past. It just, I don't think that the timing was right, and now people are looking visibly to see reform in Sacramento. They're angry. They want to see cuts. They want to see these kind of efficiencies, budget reform.
Have you spoken with the 5 members of the Board of Equalization? I mean, arguably, maybe it'd be good. They'd have more power, I guess you could say, but what are their thoughts?
Well, without using names, yes, absolutely. I've talked to 2. I talked to the chairman and 1 board member.
And that means a Democrat,
and
the chairman's a Democrat.
Absolutely. And they expressed interest in pursuing this and are not offended by the notion of doing this. This would not take away any of their particular powers or responsibilities. It probably would, although the chairman sits on the Franchise Tax Board. So.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. He's Jeff Gorell, a member of the California Assembly. I'm Brad Pomerance. Back to HLN.